Welcome to Learning Out Loud, a space for honest conversations as life is happening. I'm Kate, and this podcast is about navigating the moments that shape us, the stress, the growth, and the uncertainty, and the lessons that we only learn by living them. I'm not here as an expert with all the answers. I'm here learning in real time and sharing what I'm learning along the way and holding space for those figuring it out too. So, wherever you're listening from, walking, driving, or just taking a moment for yourself, I'm really glad you're here. Let's learn out loud together. Now, today's episode is a little bit more personal. Recently, for me, life has been very real. As many of you know, I currently live in Dubai. And if you've been staying on top of the news, we're currently living through a situation that none of us quite expected. Now, it's the moments like this that remind you just how fragile life can be. And when things like this happen, something shifts in you. The small worries start to fade, the noise disappears, and you're forced to confront what actually matters. You reveal what you cling to, what you believe in, and most importantly, what actually holds you steady. I think we all know by now growth isn't something that happens when life is calm, comfortable, and predictable. It's revealed when everything around you feels uncertain. Over the past few days, I've definitely found myself thinking a lot about perspective. I've watched the way Dubai have handled this situation in comparison to other regions, and I've watched how I navigate the situation in comparison to some of my peers. And amongst that, I've really started to think about my faith, my purpose, about how life can quickly strip away things that we thought mattered, and how these moments actually sharpen your understanding of who you are and why you're here. So I've definitely been in a season recently where I feel like I was getting maybe a bit too comfortable. I was chasing a new challenge. I maybe wasn't feeling 100% in some areas, but then I wasn't feeling lack in other areas. And I was just really confused because I was just like, am I just being a brat? Like, am I just like not being able to settle and just be happy with where I'm at? Like, am I just trying to chase the next challenge, or is this genuinely just maybe not working for me? Like, is there something I need to change, something I need to add? Or, I was just basically in a little season of, right, what needs to be done here in order to make me feel satisfied. And after a lot of thought, I kind of realized actually it was a lack of stimulation in some areas, but then a lot of self doubt in others. And all in all, things, so I thought, were on the straight and narrow until missiles started to be shot through the sky in Dubai. Now, none of us were expecting this at all. I myself, when it all started to kick off, was actually out for coffee with a client of mine. And next thing you know, this massive bang shook the ground, the building, everything. Like something I have never witnessed before. And me being so naive in that moment, didn't even think at first that it was a bomb. And I just assumed that somebody's water heater on their roof had exploded, as that happened a few weeks back. And lo and behold, we checked the news and it was in fact a bomb. And that was the beginning of the rest of our week. What is going on currently is absolutely devastating, and I'm blessed to be on the side that isn't seeing the true severity of it. And although what we're witnessing and hearing is not something that I'd personally put anybody through, we are so fortunate for the safety and security that we have within the government here with Dubai. So thankfully, so far, the fatalities have been minimal, and we've all been able to kind of continue as normal with precaution. On that Saturday night, it was like the most intense moment of solitude I think I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Before my eyes, everything that I once cared about, everything that I once thought was important, all disappeared, and I started to panic and think, that's it. Like, all of it's going to go, and I don't know what's going to happen next. The first few hours, I was optimistic. I was calling my family members, telling them, oh, don't worry, like it's all going to be okay. I just sat with my Bible, I kept praying, and I knew in God's will, everything will be fine. I'd had to put my sofa up against a wall, stack it out with pillows, put my mattress against the door because I'm surrounded by glass, and they kind of urged us all to stay low, stay away from windows. And all I could imagine was something hitting my building, the glass shattering over me, and I just thought, right, let's just put the precautions in place. Let's sit. So I was sat in my little pillow fort and was trying to make light of the whole situation and just try and make myself think like this is just precaution, like nothing bad's going to happen. And eventually, after a few phone calls with family members and just kind of listening to my worship music, getting myself okay with the idea of what was going on, I managed to doze off. And then all of a sudden, I woke up profusely sweating in a bit of like a hypnotic state because I was kind of half asleep, half not. And then the sirens began. And if anyone has ever been in Dubai with the weather warnings, they know what siren I'm talking about. Now imagine this times 10. So loud, so terrifying. There I am, half asleep. Sirens go off. Next thing you know, the loudest bang of an intercepted missile went off. And that was it. My heart was racing. I felt like I was going to be sick and I just couldn't do it. I ended up at my friend's and spent the next few days there with them just so I had a bit of company because anyone that experienced that would agree it is terrifying. So incredibly terrifying. But yeah, in that moment of solitude, I really started to realize exactly how fragile things were, and everything that I thought I once loved here became disposable, as did I. And it made me really put into perspective exactly what stands when everything else goes away. Like, what do I have? And for me personally, what came to my mind was just myself and my faith. And that then helped me find my purpose because those are two things that genuinely, as long as I'm living and breathing, will exist and nothing can take that away from me. And yeah, it just was hard to see in the moment, but I kept telling myself a revelation will come, like something good's going to come of this, it's all going to be over soon and everything's going to be fine. But don't get me wrong, it's still absolutely not for me for six. It was horrible and it still is horrible. You know, it's not over yet, it's just the beginning and none of us really know where it's going to go. So for me, I really have just put my life into perspective the last few days of actually, what is my purpose? And I actually filmed an episode last week and I didn't end up posting it because something about it just didn't feel right. And I think the world and God wanted me to wait until this was happening because now purpose is the most relevant topic of conversation. So, obviously, since everything's been going on, I haven't been at work. I went back today for the first time, and I've spent a lot of time just thinking, what makes me happy? What makes me feel good? What am I maybe lacking at the moment that I once had before when I was in what I thought was my best season? I really sat there and thought about it, and I kind of put two pictures of myself side by side and I annotated, right, this is what I used to have, this is what I have now, this is what I think I'm missing, so this is where I need to work on. And I really just started to delve into not the materialistic things, genuinely to the core. What is it that I need in order to make myself happy? Because realistically, that's what it comes down to, because life is very, very short. All that matters in the end is who you are as a person, how satisfied you are with the life you've lived, and the people that are around you. I didn't expect to find my purpose this aggressively, but through bad times and devastation, I've really had my own personal revelation. And I know that there's even bigger revelation to come once this all finishes as well. And I'm really excited for where that's going to take me. I guess today I wanted to really talk about that importance of purpose and finding exactly what it is that you love and that you enjoy, and really starting to look after yourself in the way that is best for you, because there are so many different ways that different people operate. I think definitely what I've learned since living here and in all my past experiences is the more I've learned myself, the more opportunities I've attracted, and the better results I've gotten from that as well. Because it's so easy for us to try and fit into a cookie cutter and be like everybody else, and comparison is the thief of everything. Once you realize exactly how you operate as a person and the environments you thrive in, it doesn't mean to say that you then just go and avoid everything that's not meant for you, but you kind of know how to mold yourself into those situations in order to grow. I've definitely been honing in on my routines recently and prioritizing rest, prioritizing my Bible studies, and all the things that make me feel good, which has then in turn made me a better friend, it's made me a better person, and it's made me a better agent as well. Some of my best weeks in real estate were the weeks where I actually took the time to actually look after myself, and it's not an excuse to slack, and it's not an excuse to take your focus away from anything. If anything, it's just the time that you would have spent procrastinating, you're just putting back into yourself to recharge for the next day. And as well, what I wanted to go into is being able to navigate and prioritize the different kind of stresses that we have, because what I've definitely noticed is things that I'm passionate about I don't feel as stressed doing, even if I'm using more of myself, more of my time, more of my energy. It's a stress that I almost enjoy, so there's no pressure. Whereas when it's something that I don't necessarily want to do, the stress really weighs down on me and I start to procrastinate, I start to feel drained, I start to doubt myself. And there's a real beauty in being able to identify that, because again, it's not about avoiding it, it's about then, right, what is draining me in this situation and what can I do in order to change the narrative and change that perspective on it. I think I will save that for a full episode where I can go and delve into it properly, the kind of navigating the different stresses. I guess it feeds into previous episodes about what you choose to take with you, etc. And then complements this episode really nicely about finding what it is that you want and your purpose. And with purpose also comes perspectives. As I said, the way Dubai have managed this whole situation has been nothing short of incredible. We've been able to remain some form of normality whilst everything is going on. They've really controlled the situation well. They were able to open the airspace for a period of time to get some people in and out. Whereas I look back, and it's not just like the UK at all, but I look back at my life at home and how COVID panned out, and it was panic buying and queues at the fuel stations, everyone's worrying, everyone thinks the world's going to end, and it created all of this external chaos, which actually then didn't allow our government at the time to then actually focus on what they should have been doing. It was kind of like a domino effect, whereas here it's remained so calm and so controlled that now when we hear the missiles going over, we are so trusting that, oh, it's because they're being intercepted, it's not that they're hitting directly on the ground, that we're all just like, okay. And again, that just comes down to perspective, because instead of having that perspective of we don't trust, we're going to die, like this is going to be terrible, we're going, okay, like we're safe, it's okay. And we're going to be optimistic, like we're going to get out of this, Dubai's got us, like we are safe. So, what we can do with that theme of perspective is really put that into our own lives. When you are looking at yourself and your purpose, what lens are you actually looking at life through? Because it's very easy for us sometimes to get stuck in like a negative headspace, and we can look at things and think they're worse than they are, or they're not right for us, and it might just genuinely be the lens that you've got on at the time. And I do this all the time, like, and I have to ask myself, like, am I just being picky, or is this actually happening right now? And I sometimes sit and I pray on it for a little bit and come to that conclusion eventually. So yeah, perspective is huge. You really have to start, first of all, looking in the mirror, looking within, because that's where it always starts. You can't point the finger elsewhere until you've looked within and given yourself the kind of check over, and kind of like emotional MOT. And it links really nicely into the whole like narrative voice that you use and the way you speak to yourself and others. The way you're feeling inside will often interpret how you view things. Something that I've always told people, it's your mindset and it's your perspective. Like, change your perspective and you'll change your life, I promise. But it does get hard, and even in times like this, you know that it's what you should do, but it's not always the easiest, because sometimes reality hits you in the face and you go, well, actually, even the good perspective doesn't seem viable right now, like, because my perspective is what I'm seeing. Not what I'm imagining, it's right in front of me. Now, it's easy for us to imagine that this whole process of growth is going to have loads of routine, clarity, certainty, whilst we slowly build the life that we've dreamed of. But like I've been shown in this situation, sometimes you can do everything in your will to create that life, but things come in to interrupt it, and suddenly everything feels like it's paused. And it's very easy in moments like this to feel like you're going backwards, or that your progress has been disrupted, or that life has somehow rudely stepped in front of something that you were quietly building in the background. But I really see it from a different perspective, especially as I've been looking at this whole situation through a lens of faith and reading a lot of scripture to kind of back and give myself reassurance of what's to come and why things are happening the way they are. And the one thing I've really focused on was revelation. These kind of situations reveal exactly what means most to you. And in a strange way, although interruptions seem like something that you don't want in this process, if you choose to work them in, they can actually become a huge factor into who you end up becoming, because they strip away this illusion that we're fully in control, but they bring us back to perspective, faith, and purpose. So maybe becoming isn't about unfolding exactly as we planned. Maybe it's about who we become when it doesn't. And sometimes the moments that interrupt us the most are the moments that reveal the most about who we are. Now, wherever you're at in life right now, Whether things are feeling steady or you're feeling slightly interrupted, maybe the question isn't why is this happening to me? Instead, what is this moment revealing to me? Thank you for listening to Learning Out Loud. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Trust that interruptions might be exactly what you're needing. And wherever you're at in your process of becoming, I'm really proud of you.